Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee with Kem and Hills. It is the first day of spring.
Yep.
What? We're here.
I know. The weather is crazy, but
weather's
it's
all over the
springtime,
place, but
so
it's springtime.
yay!
Yes. Oh, I felt like we were never gonna get here. I don't know why this winter felt really drawn out. It always feels like that, I think, around this time. But
I guess I feel like this winter felt worse.
really,
I don't know. I mean, maybe it was like Omicron and really everybody buckling down over the holidays and like January this year versus last year. December and January were like the first times that people were seeing people again.
Right.
So it felt, I don't know, it felt long.
right? Yeah, it really
And
did.
bad weather.
Yeah,
Cold
just
weather.
weird, chaotic sort of. You can't trust what's gonna happen weather.
Nope.
You're like, oh, it's a spring day. Oh, it's a full-on winter snowstorm.
Yeah.
Very confusing. Just playing with our emotions.
Right?
We've been coming out of a lot lately. Give us a break, weather. But alas, global warming, so that's not one of our topics. But
Not today, but maybe it should be.
We'll get there. We'll get there at some point, I'm sure. But we do have a topic that is in the world of spring.
Yeah.
Spring clean your finance in 5 easy steps from Gold Country Media. So this is, I always feel this, and I'm very B type. I'm not the most organized person. But when spring hits, well, when you feel spring, when it feels like spring, you can open the windows in your house and you just I get that feeling where I want to cleanse.
Oh, totally.
Do you get that?
Oh, yeah. And it's funny, it didn't really happen until I moved to the East Coast, which might be also that, I'm a mom now, and so it's a little bit different. But it also feels like the weather. When the weather does change, you feel the seasons.
Motivates
and you feel like, okay, I just want to clean everything, and I want to have it feel good for the rest of the year.
Yes. And the first tip that this article gives is toss paper and secure passwords, which that's kind of where, that's what I like to get rid. I like to literally clean out what I don't need or what's, not serving me or just what's creating bulk and chaos in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're saying pull out the shredder and dispose of old bills and notices. And if you are still keeping your passwords, on a piece of paper, maybe consider putting it somewhere where it's a little more secure.
Yep.
My mom, I'm just laughing because my mom does that. And so she'll be with me helping with the kid, and then she'll be calling her husband saying, can you find my pad of paper with my passwords? I need this password for this thing. So we might need to have a little conversation, a spring cleaning conversation.
But does she write them in pencil so that she can always update them? Because I feel like there are systems where you have to change it every so often.
Yeah, I know.
Writing in pen seems very permanent.
I know. Maybe she uses the good old whiteout. You know what I mean?
Whiteout. Oh my goodness.
I know. I remember as a kid I'd mess up on purpose just because I wanted to use the whiteout. You know what I mean? Maybe that's how she feels. I don't know. I'll have to ask her. Okay, the next tip is assess your financial stability. So prepare a summary of money coming in and going out, which is what? Healthy, Wealthy Wednesday. We've already
So if you
this
didn't
tip.
start in January or Lunar New Year, it's spring. Maybe you should
Now
start
is the
now.
time. Spring motivates. Spring motivates change. I'm telling you right now.
Yes.
Yep,
It
we're all
does.
going to turn a new leaf. So so prepare a summary. Have it written out. What's coming in, what's going out,
And if you have already been following the steps of the Healthy Wealthy Wednesdays, make sure you're doing a spring check-in. Is your budget that you've planned for actually aligning with what you're spending and where you're spending your money?
Yeah.
Do you need to adjust it so it actually is a working budget for you? Or do you need to adjust your spending so that you're not overspending and you're actually sticking to your budget? So make sure that you're just checking in with yourself and being honest, because that's the point of having a budget and having some of these guardrails in place, is so that you can be honest with yourself and get yourself to those financial goals that you're hoping to have.
That's right. You heard it here first, folks. With that, they recommended calculating your assets and liabilities to get an idea of your net worth. Just knowing what you have going on, you know, is a great way to start your spring and look for opportunities to grow earnings and reduce debt. That's also a great tip.
And this is typically the time of year that a lot of people are doing reviews at work. So also the time of year to be asking for that raise to improve those earnings.
Ask for that raise, people. You deserve it.
You do.
I think.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. All right. The next tip is streamline cards and memberships, which we've talked about before on here. It's like with the rising cost of everything, you know, with apps that you might have, you know, purchased that you probably forgot about, that you're making payments on every month. Or, you know, Netflix and all of those things. Like just reevaluate where your money's going and if that's something that you're really, if you still need it or...
Are you using it? If you're not, then maybe you can either pause it or cancel it.
Because those prices are only going up. As we have learned. All right. Next tip is touch up your estate plan, which we've learned on the show as well. Is keep your estate plan up to date because life is constantly changing. What we're doing, what our goals are, what our assets are. So you want to make sure.
And you already know what your assets are because you just did that in your calculating your net worth. So maybe things have changed since last year.
Right. So update your estate plan. Come on. All right. What's the next?
I think one of the other tips that they also talk about that I thought was very actually helpful is use those gift cards. So you might have gotten gift cards for Christmas or maybe your birthday last year. I don't know. I don't know if you're like me and I put those someplace and I forget to use them, even at stores where I want to use them.
I know. I kind of hoard them.
Same.
Like it's like a fun thing I have to wait for some special moment to use it.
But really, you should be using it because that's the point. And the person who gave it to you as a gift wants you to use it, wants you to spend some money on yourself. So make sure you're using those up. And then maybe you've used it up and then you can put it in the shredder and be done with it. And then that's less clutter.
One less thing in your house.
Spring clean.
Yeah, I thought that was a good tip too. Because that's something I do for sure. I don't know why. What is that about people that you are like, oh, it's this like special thing that I have that I have to wait for like a special occasion to use. But you know, it really is like, it's money's money, right? So whenever you use it, it's like, So use that Starbucks card.
Use it before you lose it.
That's right.
And by lose it, I mean losing that gift card and then you never get that money back.
Exactly. That too, right? All right. The next tip is refresh your savings and investments. I feel like this keeps coming up a lot lately. Make sure your emergency fund is sufficient to handle unexpected setbacks. Again, we talked about that in Healthy Wealthy Wednesday. Setting up a savings account. So hopefully everyone has done that already.
And maybe by now, if you did it last year and you're already set, but maybe your financial goals have changed, or maybe you're making more money, or maybe you're spending more money every month than you thought you were. So maybe you need to put in a little bit more into that fund.
Which is great. If you can do that, do it. And check in on your retirement savings to make sure that you're still on track as well. That's another good one.
I like that one.
I do too. And set up automatic savings with each paycheck. That's almost my favorite one because that is like the only way I will be able to do anything. It has to be automatic. That's how I can pay a bill and that's how I can save. So I was like, yes, this.
It definitely makes it easier and you just don't even think about it, which is great.
Yes. Yes. For minds like mine, that is so necessary. All right. I think we're going to take a quick commercial break and then we're going to be right back to dive into another hot topic. See you in a sec. Welcome back. That's right. We're not done with hot topics because we're still drinking our hot coffees. And we are fired up.
We are fired up about hot topics with our hot coffees.
Yes. Woo, caffeine. So our next topic is 7 pieces of personal finance advice from billionaires. Now you might be rolling your eyes. Like, thanks. But I think some of these were pretty helpful.
Yeah, I think so too. I think one of my favorites was the first one, which came from Warren Buffett. Good investments take time.
Yeah.
He has a quote that they have in the article that you cannot produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant, which seems, I mean, obviously it's very silly, but
I think it's just silly he came up with that as like the analogy, but
and also coming from Warren Buffett, who like I feel like is just perpetually old, and you're just like, oh, he said that.
Yeah, I know.
Weird.
I know. It doesn't fit with the person. You're like, what?
But I think he is known for the fact that he invests in long-term investments, and so I think that, you know, it's hard to time the market and, you know, get in before it's hot and then get out before it cools. And if you're really doing the due diligence, or you're hiring a financial advisor to help keep track of your investments for you, to really invest in the long term is really how you're going to see the best return on your money.
Right. It's patience and perseverance. I feel like, I don't know if anyone watches Shark Tank, but
Guilty.
Yeah, I think it's so good. It's kind of addictive, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Once you turn it on, you're like, I have to see it.
Yeah, you have to like see what happens, because but I feel like all of those, you know, multimillionaires, successful sharks, they all have a story of starting out with nothing and pounding the pavement, and they respect the process so much, and I feel like that is a similar journey, a similar story for a lot of really successful people. I mean, unless it's like a Kardashian, that's a different story.
But they also were born into wealth, so there's a whole
born
thing
into
there.
wealth. Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's having the patience to do the work properly.
Yeah. And to let the time, especially as we've learned, compound interest is your friend when it comes to time. So starting early when it comes to investing, and making sure that you're allowing enough time for those investments to take shape and to build on themselves. That's how you're really going to be able to set yourself up for retirement, is by allowing them to do their work over time.
Right. See, these billionaires know what's up.
And it can be scary, I think, too, especially right now. Like, there's a lot of financial uncertainty. The market is up and down literally every day. It's up 2 points, it's down 5 points, it's up 5 points. You know, it is hard to see that and not be a little bit scared about investing. But they do say, like, over the long term, you should be able to see 8 to 10% if you have your money invested in the market. That's a typical over time. Not every year is going to give you that yield, but
you have to be willing to ride out these phases.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is scary, but I guess it's part of the journey towards financial success. All right, I liked this next one because it's the founder of Domino's Pizza, which I ordered the other week.
Yum.
I had a craving, all right, and it was specific to Domino's. Tom Monaghan. Monaghan?
Sure.
Monaghan. Congratulations, you've done well.
Yeah.
He says, reach your dreams with both short and long-term goals. And what I thought was kind of inspiring about what he was saying was that he never hopes to achieve all of his goals. His goals are like what drives him in life, and so when he's on his deathbed, he wants to still have goals ahead of him. He wants, like, it's what brings life to his existence, you know. It inspires him, and I think that's a really interesting mindset to have.
Yeah, and I one of the things that I liked about this mindset too is that you should have these long-term goals that are almost like pie in the sky, but then realistic goals that you can short-term hit and keep your momentum
on your way
to the pie in the sky. Exactly. And I just think that that's a really great mentality, because you getting that pie in the sky can seem also really daunting. But if you are hitting these goals and milestones along the way and you break it down, it really, you can make it happen.
Yeah, I like that he's an advocate for dreaming, and having big dreams, and that those dreams are attainable. And to do that you need to do that to reach great success. And I thought that was a very positive take on, on being the best you can be. You know what I mean? Financially and in life. I didn't mean to rhyme. Yes, I'm a rapper on the side.
DJ Kem.
DJ Kem. This tip is from Carlos Slim Helou, who owns holdings in hundreds of companies. And he has a quote, and his quote is, "When we face our problems, they disappear. So learn from failure and let success be the silent incentive."
I liked that.
Yeah, I like it too.
Because it is true. I feel like you do learn more when it doesn't go right.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It totally sucks, but it's true. In the industry I'm in, you fail way more than you succeed.
Same.
So if you can't learn to take that and use it as motivation you're just gonna crumble into a little ball and cry yourself to sleep. Not that there haven't been nights like that, you know what I mean?
Right. That does happen. Yeah, and I think, a lot of successful people talk about this growth mindset. And this kind of goes back to it, is seeing failure as a learning opportunity versus seeing it as the end.
Right.
And, sometimes it is the end and you pivot to something completely different, but learning from that opportunity, learning from that failure is the way to get through life and be more positive and hopefully attract and have more positive things happen.
Well, and the reminder as well that a successful billionaire is saying that it's good. It's good to fail. You need to fail to get to that next level. So yes, it's hard not to be hard on ourselves.
It is.
But to remember that it's a very universal, this is just human thing to do, is to fail. We all fail.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We do. That's what life is. It's learning how to deal with
failing.
failure.
But yeah,
it is. Adapting to failure.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up with this one because this one's good. Never stop learning.
This one was from Michael Bloomberg, who, founder of Bloomberg, former mayor of
New York City.
I think that, it's super helpful. Life is always about failure and learning from that failure. And when you fail to learn about anything, just be curious in the world. That's how you're going to still get enjoyment out of life.
Right, because you don't want to be the person that reaches some success and then ego becomes a bit inflated and you can't take maybe the criticism, or you don't want to take in the new information that's necessary to continue your growth towards success. Yeah. And so I thought that was a very important tip. Because I think it's really easy to get sort of locked in one way of thinking. You're like, oh, well, this has always worked for me, and so I don't need to do that, and that. But everything's constantly evolving. Yeah. So if you're not keeping up with it, then you're going to fall behind.
You have to adapt.
And
I think one of the points that they also make in this article is that as you're continuously learning, things are changing not only, in your life, but also in your financial life. So making sure that you're constantly learning about financial literacy and taking, right now, you're taking time out of your day to learn about financial matters. Right. And so I'm proud of you for taking the time today to watch this show.
I'm proud too.
Yeah.
Good job. On that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back to talk about the shows airing today on ROI TV. See you in a sec. All right, welcome back. So today on Your Money, Your Wealth, Joe and Al go over retirement reality checks. Are you really ready for retirement? This could be both financially and mentally. Retirement is a whole different world, and you need to make sure that you are ready to dive in. Today on Life's Third Act, Joe goes over the best places to retire in 2022. It could be internationally or here in the USA, but they take into consideration the cost, healthcare, activities, and ease of travel. If you're thinking about moving somewhere else in retirement, you won't want to miss this episode, so be sure to tune in. Also, today on ETF Stories, we get to learn about ETF Lux.
I like the sound of this one.
I know. They invest in the luxury brand segment of the market. Think Burberry, Louis Vuitton, Cartier, etc. They think with the expansion and growth that Asia has had, especially China this last decade, the luxury space will continue to grow. So be sure to tune in to all of these episodes today on ROI TV. You can catch them. Where can you catch them?
You can catch us on Amazon Fire TV, on Roku, on Apple TV, or on your phone via our iOS or Android app. Or you can now catch us on Distro TV.
Woohoo! Oh my goodness, we are expanding.
So make sure to tune in and invest in yourself.
That's right. Catch you tomorrow.